So just coming into constructive rest position. So before you do that, maybe just give the knees a little squeeze into your chest, rock and roll a little bit from side to side. And then take your feet down on the mat, wide as the mat, and just allow your knees to knock in towards each other. And then just bring your arms out, kind of like in a little upper body mini shavasana. So palms face up. You can snuggle your shoulder blades underneath you a little bit. Feel nice and relaxed here. Starts to let the bones melt down into the mat. So feeling really supported. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. And open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Couple more times like that. Deep inhale. Sigh the breath out. Ha. One more time. And then just starting to find the rhythm of your Ujjayi breath. That inhale through your nose and that exhale through your nose. Just trying to create that soft rush of air in the back of your throat, trying to create this sense of inner stillness, inner calm. So beginning to let all of the distractions just melt into the background, that to-do list, anything that might be stressing you out, the Mondays, all of those things. Finding that nice steady inhale through your nose, that full complete exhale through your nose, and you're keeping the length of the inhale and the length of the exhale really nice and even. Really soaking up that sound of your breath. It becomes your soundtrack here. And of course, your attention will wander from time to time. When you've noticed that it has, just remind yourself to come back to that breath. Good, and then taking deep inhale here. As you exhale, sigh the breath out, hug the knees in, give them a little squeeze. You can rock side to side, just massaging out the lower back. And let's just get into a little core work today. So we're gonna start with some leg bicycles. So depending upon if there's sensation or not in your lower back, if there's any tenderness there, you're gonna lift your hips up and you're gonna take your hands underneath just to give you a little support. Otherwise, you can just have your hands by your side. So they're both good options. Squeeze those knees in so the knees are basically kind of landing over the hips. They might be in a little tighter. Take a nice deep inhale here and then moving super slow as you exhale, start to extend, right leg forward. Inhale up to center. Welcome, Kyla. As you exhale, extend left leg forward. Inhale up. And we're going to continue like this. So again, nice and steady. There's no rush. In fact, the slower you go, the more you're going to start to feel this. You're just gazing up at the ceiling. Eyes might be closed here, and you're just finding a little rhythm. If you're feeling pretty strong right out of the gates here and you would like to up the ante a little bit, you're welcome to stretch your arms up overhead. So just having your palms facing in towards each other, just lengthening through the sides of the body. If you need to take breaks with this, by all means do so, hug your knees in. Otherwise, stick with it if you can, and you're gonna notice here, we're gonna start to get into that territory where you begin to feel this deep in the lower belly. Try to keep the face, the jaw soft and relaxed, even though there is a lot of intensity here. And again, do take breaks if you need to. I'm gonna be here like another 30 seconds. Just moving with the breath. Good, so you're gonna finish up on that left side. You're gonna hug the knees in. Again, just rock a little bit from side to side. And then let's do one more little core exercise here. So you're gonna extend your legs up to straight. So you're making an L shape. So your ankles are basically over your hips. I kind of point and flex the feet at the same time. So you're kind of finding that Barbie foot. It's fine if it feels better to completely point. Maybe it feels better to completely flex the feet. You can play around, see what feels best. And again, tenderness in your lower back. You're going to just take your hands underneath your hips. Otherwise, hands can be by your side. And just lowering one leg at a time, nice and slow. It's not going to hit all the way down. So as you exhale, extend that right leg forward. So it just hovers up above the earth, that heel. Inhale up. Exhale, lower left leg. Inhale up. And then continuing like that. So you're thinking internal rotation in the legs here. So that inner thigh is spiraling slightly forward, down towards the mat as the leg begins to lower. You can pull your lower belly in and up. And then you take breaks if you need to. Again, if you're feeling like you need a little more, maybe you start to stretch the arms up overhead. And then perhaps you start to lower both legs at the same time. So only do that if you're feeling really strong here, as long as there's no sensation in the lower back. Otherwise, just keep going one leg at a time. And so in addition to getting into the belly here, you're going to feel this on the tops of the thighs, those hip flexors. And a lot of us are pretty tight there, so this can feel pretty intense. Let's do a couple more to each side. If you're doing both legs at the same time, you've got like 3 or 4 more here. So you're going to end on that left side. We're just getting this hardcore work out of the way early. Good. And then when you're done, hug the knees into your chest, rock a little bit from side to side. It's fine, just a nice little hip release here. So place that left foot down on the mat, cross that right ankle above, flex the foot, and then you can take your right hand into that right thigh, gently press forward. So you should be feeling a stretch in that hip, the hip flexor area. If you want to go a little deeper, you can bend your left knee into your chest, interlace fingers around your left shin or thigh. You just want to be in a place where you can feel both shoulder blades pressing evenly into the mat underneath you. Couple more good breaths here. Good. Deep inhale. As you exhale, just release wherever you're at. Uncross right ankle, and the left ankle crosses above your right. So flexing the foot, you can take your left hand into that thigh, gently press forward. This might be plenty. This might be where you're staying. That's absolutely fine. If you do have a little more flexibility in the hips and you want to bend your right knee in, by all means, feel free to do so. And then you take a few breaths here. Maybe noticing how this side feels different in your body. Hi, Tanya. Good, nice deep inhale. As you exhale, release down and then squeeze both knees in. Your choice, you can start to rock forward and back on your spine if that feels okay. It might feel really nice after that core work. It might not. If that's you, if you're in that camp, you just roll off to one side or the other. And then we come up to our tabletop position. Good. So landing with shoulders over wrist, fingers spreading, knees under hips. As you inhale, arch into your lumbar. Chest comes forward. As you exhale, you press the mat away. Let the back of the neck lengthen and release. And then you're continuing like that at your pace. So you're finding your rhythm today. And you're letting this feel really good. So there's something kind of magical when we start to connect the movement with the breath. It has this really nice calming quality. And when we begin to move like this, we start to just feel where we're tight in our bodies. We start to open things up a little bit. We start to find a little more space. Get a few more rounds here. On your next inhale, come back to neutral spine. You're neither arching nor rounding. Walk your hands forward a couple of inches. Spread fingers, cross evenly. And then curl your toes under. Shift your hips up. You can keep a bend in your knees here so you can really stretch your sit bones up towards the ceiling. So your inner thighs spiral back behind you as you reach higher, and then root down into the palms. See if you can find even more length through the sides of your waist. Find a little of that core work that we've been doing. So pull the lower belly in and up. And then you can start to melt your heels back, eddy them out, bring the legs towards straight. You might keep a healthy bend in the knees starting out. That's absolutely fine. Your gaze is soft and gentle between your feet. Your breath is smooth and steady. That inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. And first downward dog of the day can always pack a lot of sensation. So just know that if it's not feeling like your downward dog usually feels, you're going to get there quicker than you think. From here, we're going to inhale, shift forward into our plank pose. We're finding the core again, but I want you to get your legs more involved here. So shoulders land over your wrists. Hips are in line with your shoulders. Your gaze is an inch or two in front of your fingertips, so you're keeping the back of your neck nice and long. Good work. And then fire up the legs. Use them more than you think to. Just imagine that you're pressing your heels into a wall behind you. Good. Shift way forward on your toes so you can keep your legs like this. Maybe you come to your knees to the count of 5, elbows bend. We pass our chaturanga, lowering onto our bellies. 3, 2, and 1. Good. When you get there, press into the tops of your feet. Release your arms by your side so palms face in towards each other. Engage the legs, squeeze the outer hips in as you inhale. Chest, head extend forward and up. Squeeze the shoulder blades in towards each other. Imagine that there's a little pencil that you're trying to hold between those shoulder blades. And the tendency sometimes is to throw the head back here. Sometimes we tuck the chin, kind of split the difference. So again, neck nice and long. Press into your feet a little more. Maybe that allows you to lift a little higher. Deep inhale. As you exhale, lower down. So you stick with that variation. If you wanted to grab a strap and hold on to that with your arms, you're welcome to do so. You also might be able to interlace your fingers at the small of your back. So your palms are facing in towards each other. Just notice what thumb and index is on top. Shoulder head's lifting already. Same idea with the feet. They're really active. Legs are really active as you inhale. Chest extends forward and up. If your fingers interlace, drag your knuckles towards your heels. If you're holding onto a strap, kind of stretch it apart. So this is a nice version in which we get into our shoulders a little bit here. Breath smooth and steady. Good, deep inhale. Exhale, lower down. If your fingers interlace, change the interlacing, opposite thumb and index on top. As you inhale, drag knuckles back towards heels, pull out on that strap. Maybe your arms are still just facing by your side. That's especially nice. Shoulders are tighter. And then perhaps inhale, lift your legs up off the mat. So again, if there's sensation in your lower back that doesn't feel good, just place the legs back down. That's going to help you to build strength in this pose. With each inhale, feel a little more lift and lightness in your heart and chest. Good. One more deep inhale. Exhale, place your feet down. Bring your fingertips underneath your shoulder heads. And then next exhale, roll down, just finding our Bhujangasana low cobra. Inhale, chest extends forward and up. Keep pressing down into your hands. Good. Exhale, lower. Inhale up and make sure you're rolling a little bit to the outer edges of your feet. Good. Exhale, lower down. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. And then inhale up, just hold here. Couple of breaths. Check in with your face, jaw. Make sure you're not clenching your teeth here. And then a couple of options to come out of this. So maybe you just press up to your tabletop, curl your toes under into your downward facing dog. If you would like to curl your toes under, firm your thighs up so the knees, even the kind of the lower part of your upper thigh starts to lift up. And then from here, press straight back to your downward facing dog. So both good options. Ears release between your biceps. Breath smooth and steady here. Already is this downward dog feeling a little different? And then start to walk your hands back to meet your feet. As you inhale, come into your Ardha Uttanasana, so hands on shins or thighs, maybe even fingertips on the floor, chest and gaze come forward. As you exhale, you fold in, lengthening the back of the neck, pressing into your feet, stretching arms out and up. And then as you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So a couple of rounds of our Ardha Surya Namaskara, our half sun salute. As you inhale, take up space, stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hinge, forward fold and lengthening. Inhale, find that extension, your Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold, beautiful work. As you exhale, you fold in, pressing into your feet, stretching arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. 2 more on your own, just moving with the breath. You can follow along with me. Maybe you close your eyes. Find this rhythm, find space in your body, find this sense of ease. There's no rush to finish these. When you've completed that second round, you're just standing with your palms together at your heart, eyes closed. Mountain pose, noticing how you're feeling. With the eyes closed too, you can notice how the feet are working to keep you upright. There's these little micro movements going on. And then blink your eyes open, release your arms by your side. We're gonna come into a triangle pose here, kind of early in the practice. So I do recommend having a block if you have one. If you don't, you could use a chair or something in front of you. And we're gonna step wide on our mat. The block is just gonna go behind your right ankle. All right, so you're gonna land with the edges of your feet parallel with the edges of the mat. Good, and then before we even do anything here, just feel as though you're squeezing the outer edges of the feet into the midline. Feel the outer hip squeeze in, direct your tailbone down. So we're already activating the legs a lot here. From deep within this right hip socket, turn that leg out to 90 degrees and then find that feeling of everything squeezing into the midline again. And then release these left toes in quite a bit. So this left hip is releasing down. We're not squaring our hips here. Your torso is gonna face towards the long edge of your mat. Inhale, arms will reach up. And then as you exhale, start to shift your hips off to the left. You're finding all of this length through the right side of your body. If you don't have a block, hand can come on your thigh or shin. If you've got the block, Just adjust it so that that shoulder is under your wrist. Good. And then left arm stacks on top of that right arm. And we just take about 5, 6, 7 breaths here. Nice and gentle. So starting out, you might even just be gazing down at that right foot. Make sure you're pressing to the inner edge of that foot. You could also simply just be looking forward. You're trying to find extension through the right side of your waist. Nice work. And then notice if that left leg is getting a little lazy, so do seal into the back edge of that foot. Big hip opening pose. So you're going to be feeling that in this right side here. Good, one more deep inhale. Exhale, look down at your right toes. If you have a prop that you're using, you're going to grab it as you come on up. Good. Parallel your feet. And then you can move that prop to the other side. Okay, so with the edges of the feet parallel with the edges of the mat, squeeze everything into the midline. From deep within that left hip socket, turn that leg out to 90. Right toes turn in. Make sure that your torso is square to the long edge of your mat. So all these little micro things happening in our body, it's a lot to focus on. You just get one of them, you're doing good. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen through the left side as your hips shift off to the right. And again, if you don't have a prop, hand on thigh or shin, nice and light. And don't put the hand on the knee since that's a joint. Puts a lot of pressure there that we don't want to have. Or on your block. And then inhale, you're going to lengthen through that left side. There's a little bit of twist here. You're wrapping those left ribs up. Again, probably gaze down or just forward starting out here. Really try to take up space in this pose. So you're sending the limbs out in all directions. You're listening to that sound of your Ujjayi breath. Just using that breath to help keep you present in your pose, to help keep you grounded. Good, and then as you exhale, just look down at those left toes. You can grab your prop if you have it. So inhale, come on up. Exhale, parallel your feet, release your arms, step together. And then let's come to the top of the mat so you can just put your prop off to the side there. And we're gonna find a little more flow before we move into some more hip openers. So here we go, as you inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, hinge, forward fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Beautiful, Kyla. Bend your knees, plant your palms, right foot way back, then left foot. Gaze is still forward. Take an inhale here in your plank pose. As you exhale, you shift forward on your toes. Maybe you come to knees. Lower halfway, hover, and then let's come all the way down. Inhale, low cobra. So stay here. If you're ready for an upward dog, drag your hands back, press into the tops of your feet. Lifting up. So your knees, your shins, your thighs are lifting up in the upward dog. If that's not happening, come back to low cobra. And then from your back bend, as you exhale, you pull back into your downward facing dog. Make any tiny little adjustments that you need to with your stance. So feet, hips distance apart, arms, shoulders distance apart. And then try to get nice and still. Sometimes the fidgeting that we do in these poses can become habitual. We're not even aware that we're doing it. So make those adjustments and find that stillness. Good, and then as we inhale, we're gonna find a little bend in our knees, come to our tippy toes, peek where you're going. So you're gonna step right then left, you can walk forward, you can hop both feet through, however you wanna get to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen forward. Feel those inner thighs spiral back, beautiful work. As you exhale, fold in. Inhale, root down to stretch up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Couple more of these. These look really nice. As you inhale, find your extended mountain pose. Exhale, come into your deep forward fold. Inhale into your half forward fold, shoulder blades down your back. Then knees plant, palms gaze forward, left foot back, then right foot, take an inhale. And then exhale, shift forward on toes. So full chaturanga, you can use your knees. Inhale into your low cobra or your upward facing dog. We can always modify these. We can always skip them too if you're not feeling it today. As you pull back, downward facing dog, if that's you. You can just step back into downward dogs and skip the plank, chaturanga, back bend part. Few breaths, everything slowing down. And then as we inhale, little bend in the knees, come to the tippy toes. End of your exhale, step left and right. Lightly hop through, walk forward. Lots of options. Inhale, lengthen. Nice. As you exhale, fold in. Pressing down into your feet, stretching arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. One more. Inhaling, reaching. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Bend your knees, plant your palms, right foot back. Then left, your version of your chaturanga vinyasa if you're taking it. Otherwise, you're back in your downward facing dog. Good, and as you exhale, down dog. And from our downward dog, let's all take a nice deep inhale here together. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, ha. Let's inhale, lift our right leg up. Keep the hips even, so sometimes that right hip wants to open up, and sometimes we go for that. We're not going for that now. So toes point down, outer hip squeeze in. Deep inhale. Exhale, step your right foot through between your hands, and then let's lower onto that left knee. So little hip flexor stretch here, which will feel really nice after that core work that we did. So depending upon how tight you are, you might have to have your hands on blocks just to bring the floor a little closer. If you're a little more open, you can slide that left knee further back and really melt that left hip down. This is intense. So notice if you're clenching your face, your jaw, soften there. Keep that breath moving. And then let's just find a twist here. So we're going to root down into our left palm. Your hand could be on a block. We're going to keep our left knee down to start. Press to the inner edge of your right foot. Start to wrap left ribs to the right and then extend that right arm up. So a couple breaths like this. Nice work. And if this is feeling super intense in your body, you stay here like this. Otherwise, you curl your left toes under and then start to really activate that leg, lifting the knee up off the earth. And just pretending that you're pressing that left heel into a wall behind you. Gaze can be down, forward, or up. These look great. Breath smooth and steady. Try to fill up on the inhale. It's hard in these deeper twists. Good. So one more deep inhale. As you exhale, you unwind. All right, and if your back knee is down, go ahead and curl those toes under. So you're in a little low lunge here. We're gonna inhale, rise up into our crescent pose. Nice work. And then we're gonna open up into our Virabhadrasana too. So heel toe your right foot to the left twice. Open up that back leg so you keep that deep bend in the right knee. Good. Sealing into the back edge of your left foot. Again, torso is squaring to the long edge of your mat. Bring your gaze out over those right fingers. And then just a few times here, we're gonna straighten this front leg. So press to the inner edge of that right foot as you inhale. Arms reach up overhead. Exhale, sink in Virabhadrasana 2. Good. Inhale, it's like the outer edges of the feet squeeze in towards each other as you straighten. Exhale in. Good. Inhale, press up. Good. Keep this front leg straight. Let's find our triangle pose again. As you exhale, hinge forward at that right hip. Good. Reach, reach, reach. And then you can grab your block again if you were using that, or hand on thigh or shin. So second time in this pose, does it feel a little easier, a little more spacious? If it doesn't, that's okay. Let's get into the shoulders a little bit here. So spin that left palm to face behind you. Bend the elbow so you can press the back of the hand into your back. Maybe you can grab a piece of shirt, that lower right side. Maybe you can get those left fingertips into the inside of that right thigh. Go ahead and press your left shoulder head back wherever you're at. And just lengthening through the neck here. It's in line with the spine. Notice if you're starting to roll to the outer edge of that right foot, press to the inner edge. That's going to turn that hip opening on a little more. Good. And then whatever version of the wrap you're in, stay here, but start to bend your right knee. All right. And then from here, let's free that top arm. Take an exhale. Inhale. Find your Virabhadrasana 2. Lovely. As you exhale, windmill your arms up and over. Spin onto your left toes. So options here, we're starting to build a lot of heat. Maybe you step back to downward dog. Maybe you want a little more, so you step to your plank pose, taking a Chaturanga Vinyasa with your breath, if that feels right for you. Nice work. Inhaling, left leg lifts. As you exhale, step that foot through between your hands and then land on your right knee. So hip flexor stretch again. Fingertips on blocks can be really nice. If you don't have blocks, but you're really tight, you can just have your hands on that left thigh. If you're a little more open, you can slide that right knee back a little bit. Get curious about how this side might feel different in your body. Is this the easy side for you? Is it a little tighter? Do they feel about the same today? Just notice. And check in with that breath again. Even it out. Good, and then we set up for our twist. So we start with that back knee down. You might stay there. Root your right hand down into the floor or a block, shoulders over your wrists. Press to the inner edge of this left foot as you start to wrap these right ribs up towards the ceiling, extending your left arm up. So shoulder blades stack on top of each other. You don't have to lean that top arm back. And then you are welcome to stay here. If you want a little more, curl those right toes under. Just imagine that you're going to press that heel into a wall behind you. So fire up that right leg. Gaze can be down, forward. You might be looking up over that top thumb. Really trying to fill up on the inhale. Good, one more deep inhale here. As you exhale, you unwind. So if your right toes aren't curled under, curl them under here. As we inhale, strong legs carry us up into our full crescent pose. Beautiful work. And then we open up, we adjust into our warrior 2. So you're gonna heel toe your left foot to the right twice, and then you're gonna spin into the back edge of that right foot. So finding your Virabhadrasana 2. So again, big hip opening. You can just gaze out over those left fingertips. And then keep the legs this strong. Think outer edges of the feet, squeezing into the midline as you inhale. Legs come to straight. Exhale back into your Virabhadrasana 2. Inhaling up. Good, exhaling in. Good, one more. Inhale, press legs to straight. Exhale, come in. And then inhale, come on up. Exhale. We start to find our Trikonasana. So keep all of this length through the left side. Keep rooting to the inner edge of that foot, hand on thigh, shin, or block. Shoulder blades stacking on top of each other. Seal into the back edge of that right foot. Use that to help you lengthen through the left side and spin those left ribs up. Keeping the breath smooth and steady. You can be gazing down, forward, or up here. And then spinning your right palm to face behind you. Bend the elbow. So just finding a little wrap or a little press into your back to help you lean that right shoulder head back. And this is an intense shoulder stretch. So back off a little bit if you need to. Good. Stay in this version of the wrap that you're in. Nice deep inhale. And then as you exhale, just start to bend your left knee. So we're kind of like in a little modified wrapped version of our extended side angle pose. Go ahead and free that right arm, reach up. See if you can get a little more length through the left side of your waist. Beautiful work. As you inhale, find your Virabhadrasana 2. And then as you exhale, windmill arms up and over. Again, we have options. Downward facing dog. You could take a Chaturanga Vinyasa if you'd like a little more heat. What do you need here? And as we pull back to our downward facing dog, we're all going to come down to our knees, find a brief little child's pose. So melting hips back, stretching forward through the sides of your waist. Checking in, slowing down, especially slowing the breath down. And let's find a little twist. So start to walk your arms off to the right, lay your belly out over that right thigh. And then we're going to come back to center and off to the left. Just a little twist here in this child's pose. Good, come on back to center. As you inhale, you come up to your tabletop. All right, we're going to curl our toes under, downward facing dog. As you inhale, find a little bend in your knees, come to your tippy toes. End of your exhale, step right, then left, hop through, walk through. Inhale, chest lengthens forward. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Good, and then as you inhale this time, knees bend, arms reach up, Utkatasana chair pose. So feet might be together. Most of us are gonna have our feet hips distance apart. Weight is in the heels. Feel all of this length through the sides of your waist. Notice how your hip bones are facing the same direction. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Take a nice deep inhale here. Vigorously press palms together. And then exhale, twist to the right. Just keep your upper body pretty upright here for a couple of breaths. Press the shoulder heads back. Stay here like this, or hinge forward and hook that left elbow to the outside of your right thigh. Nice, Kyla. So you find a little leverage there, nice and net. Elbows stack on top of each other. You're gazing forward, maybe looking up. Notice if that left hip is creeping forward a lot, just imagine that you're up against a wall, so you're pressing your sit bones back into that wall. For a couple of breaths here, if you want to split your arms, you're welcome to do so. So not necessary. Good. As you exhale, unwind, take a little forward fold, a nice little Uttanasana. So bring the legs to straight, feel the inner thighs, spiral back. Notice if you're gripping your head, let it release. Good. And then we take our second side. So inhale, knees bend, arms reach up, Utkatasana chair pose. It's just not a yoga class without a chair pose, unfortunately. As you exhale, hands come to heart center. Press vigorously, take a nice deep inhale. Still feel the weight in your heels. Exhale, just twist the upper body. And like I said, maybe you just stay here, especially if you're newer. If you want to hinge forward and then hook that right elbow to the outside of your left thigh, you're welcome to do that. As that's happening, again, just imagine that you're booty is up against a wall and you're pressing your sit bones into that wall nice and even. These twists are super challenging, so you're gonna be feeling some heat, especially in this chair pose version of it. Finally, if you wanna split your arms here for a breath or two, you're welcome to do so. So all options are good. There's not one that's better than another. They're all just kind of different ways of getting into the same place, depending upon how we're built, how we're feeling on any given day. Good. As you exhale, you unwind. And again, just hang forward here. Let the neck release. Couple of options. You could bring your hands to the backs of your legs, your calves, pull in, kind of like a standing Paschimottanasana. Maybe you want to grab opposite elbows, sway a little bit from side to side. Just see what you need here. Back of the neck nice and long, releasing down. Yeah, that's it, Annette. If you've crossed your elbows, change the cross so the opposite arm comes in front. And then go ahead and just release hands wherever they're at. Find a little bend in your knees. As you inhale, slowly start to roll up one vertebra at a time. Coming to your standing position, your tree pose. All right, so just one final little standing pose here. We're gonna move into our twisting crescent. So stick with us if you can. We're almost at our resting place. As you inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. So your option, you step to plank with me, or you step back to your downward facing dog if you've had enough. Right foot back, then left. Shift forward on toes, lower halfway, hover, or all the way down. Inhale into your low cobra or upward facing dog. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, your right leg lifts, hips stay even. Exhale, step that foot through. So we come up into our full crescent pose. Back leg super strong. You have the option to lower this back knee if you want to. As you exhale, hands come to heart center. Good. Exhale, keep your torso upright. Just twist to the right, And then stay here like this. If you want to hinge forward, and then hook that left elbow to the outside of your right thigh. So very similar to what we just did, you can do that. This gives you a little more leverage to open up. Beautiful work. These look good. Vigorously pressing palms towards heart center. And again, if you're in nice and deep and you want to split the arms here, you're welcome to do so. Maybe you're bringing your gaze up over that right shoulder. These look fantastic. One more deep inhale. As you exhale, you unwind, palms plant. And again, your choice here. So basically we have 2 more chaturangas left if you want. If you just want to step back to your downward facing dog, you're welcome to do that. Otherwise, you step back to plank. Move with your breath. Beautiful work. Okay, we've got this. As you inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. Okay, back leg is really strong unless you're choosing to put that back knee down. Inhale, rise up, crescent pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take an inhale here, find length through the sides of your waist. And then exhale, just twist your upper body. So maybe you stay like this, sink in nice and deep. Perhaps on your next exhale, you hinge forward, hooking your right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. Palms vigorously press. That helps you to get a little extension through that right side. Notice if you have the death grip on those left toes, just release them a little bit. Finally, if you're in nice and snug and you want to split your arms, you're welcome to do that. Maybe gazing up at your left thumb. Beautiful, beautiful work. One more deep inhale. And exhale. You unwind. All right, final chaturanga if you would like it. Otherwise, you pull back to your downward facing dog. Deep inhale once you get to your downward facing dog. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. And then we're gonna just bend our knees. We're gonna hop through, come to a seat. And then just come onto your back. So moving into little bridge pose here. So little active bridge pose. So knees are over your ankles, arms by your side. You're just gazing up at the ceiling. As you inhale, press into your feet, lift your hips up, direct your tailbone forward. Exhale, lower down. Inhaling, lifting up. Good, exhale, lower. Inhaling up here. Exhale, lower. And then this time you inhale up, holding your bridge pose. You can grab the outer edges of your mat, walk your hands closer to your heels, maybe interlace your fingers underneath you. Maybe you do your robot arm, so pressing into that upper arm, fingertips point up towards the ceiling. So just find that place where you can get a little more openness and stretch across your heart and chest. Observe if you've started to roll to the outer edges of your feet. So pressing evenly into your feet as your tailbone directs forward, it feels like that inner thigh is releasing down towards your mat. Definitely some effort and some sensation in this pose, especially the top of the leg. You might feel a stretch in your knees. You're even feeling it in your glutes. Perhaps even the chest. One more deep inhale. Exhale, slowly release down. Nice, easy squeeze of the knees into your chest. Just rock a little bit from side to side. And then you're gonna roll off to one side, press up, or you can roll forward and up. And we're gonna come into some hip stretching here. So we're gonna come into our Sukhasana. As always, if you're a little tighter, I recommend sitting up on a blanket or a block or two. And we're gonna cross our right shin in front of our left shin. Depending upon how tight you are, you might be pretty upright in this. If you know you're a little more flexible, you can grab a block to rest your head on. All right, so pressing into your sit bones. Inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward and then just release your hands down. So you might be pretty upright on fingertips. Hands could even be on blocks if you're super tight. If you're a little more open, you're folding in a little deeper. And again, maybe just resting your head on something. So with the right shin and cross in front, you should be feeling this stretch in that outer right hip. And this can be really, really intense for a lot of us. If you're not getting sensation in this, perhaps come back up and then stack your shins on top of each other, and that will intensify the stretch a little bit. So always lots of places we can go in these poses. Lots of little adjustments that we can make. And at this stage of the game too, you're also starting to stretch out your breath. You're letting the inhale get a little longer. You're letting your exhale get a little longer. When your attention wanders, you come back to your breath, maybe even counting your breath. Just to give the brain a little something to chew on. And let's just find a little twist here. So you're gonna start to walk your hands off to the right, really anchor down into that left sit bone. It's gonna wanna pop up a little bit. Wrap those left ribs towards the right thigh. A lot of twisting today. Always good when we change the seasons. A little spring cleaning. Good. Come back to center. And then start to upright yourself here. And we just change sides. You can extend legs to straight, give them a little shake out. And then recross with your left shin in front. Again, if you're a little more flexible, maybe both shins stack. You flex this left foot. Root into your sit bones. Stretch arms out and up. And then you exhale, fold in and aim out. So perfectly okay if you're pretty upright. I would prefer that you keep your spine long, this openness across the heart and chest, as opposed to rounding in to get deeper. If this is a little easier for you, again, head might be resting on a block that just has this nice calming sensation. Anytime your attention wanders, and it will, come back to your breath. And then we find a little twist here. So walking hands off to the left, wrapping those right ribs towards that left thigh as you root down into the right sit bone. Good, come back to center. And then inhale, roll on up. And we have time for a nice long Monday Shavasana today. So go ahead and make your way onto your spine again. Give the knees a squeeze into your chest. And if you feel like you want to take one more supine twist here, each side before you come into Shavasana, you're welcome to do that. And just kind of do that at your own pace. Otherwise, go ahead and extend legs to straight, maybe taking a little support under the knees if there's tension under the back, or bending the knees. And then arms by your side, a little wider than shoulders distance apart. You can even kind of lift up and then snuggle those shoulder blades underneath you. That feeling that we had in our bridge pose. Palms face up. Eyes closed. Feel really calm and relaxed here. Let go of any sense of effort with your body, with your breath. Just start to drop into this place of stillness and soak up these final moments of quiet. And take a deeper inhale. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. And start to bring some gentle movement back to your body. Wiggle fingers and toes. Stretch out. And then staying soft and quiet, roll to one side or the other, just finding the fetal position. Just pause there a moment. And then using your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. One last check-in here. Just noticing how you feel differently than when you started. Sending yourself, sending your body love and gratitude for showing up and working hard, for making the effort. And then just promise yourself that you're going to carry a little of this good feeling you've worked so hard to create with you into the rest of the day, the rest of the week ahead. Bring your palms together at your heart and bow your head with a smile. Excellent work today, everyone. Thank you.